continue our series today, and our series is This Is Us. Week 1, we learned that you and I were created for connection, that it's in our very DNA to be connected to one another, that we need relationships. And last week, Hook and Melba shared with us some marriage musts, and they taught us so much about intimacy and how it's not just this one-dimensional thing. And I saw several of your faces throughout the morning last week, and I saw some hesitancy as you did not know what was going to be said. And I just want you to know that I shared the same feelings. But it was so powerful. If you haven't heard that message, you need to go and check out the podcast, and you need to listen to it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, I don't know. But it was so good. This morning, we're going to continue in our series, and our title, if you're writing titles down, if you're taking notes, is simply this: You Need a Friend. I feel like my parents used to say that to me when I was bothering them. Say, Andy, you need a friend. Go see if Richard's home. I don't know. You need a friend. If you have your Bibles, I want to invite you to turn to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. We're going to look at verses 9 through 12. And as we read these verses, I want you to hear that this is really the heart of this. This is what we have to understand, is that we cannot do this thing alone. We cannot walk this life out by ourselves. We need friends. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. How many in this room have fallen down before? But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Let's pray together. Father, I pray that over these next several minutes, I just ask that your word would come through. God, I pray that it wouldn't be just a message that Andy came up with. Father, I pray that it would be your Holy Spirit moving in our hearts. I pray that we would be challenged and encouraged in the area of friendship. God, I pray for those in this room that feel that they have no friends. May they have hope again today, that connection is possible. I pray for those who have been hurt by friends. God, I pray that healing would take place in this room. Father, I pray for those that are far from you, that today they would find a friend in you, Jesus. Father, we love you, and we look to you and you alone today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
One of the things that I have learned at this point in life is that there are just some jobs, some tasks that are, they're a 2-person job. There's just some things that you are not meant to do by yourself. For example, many years ago, we put up a tree house in my backyard. By my backyard, I mean my parents' backyard. When we were kids, it was this great idea. Man, we want this tree house. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have a fort and like a secret club up there and all that cool stuff. And so my dad, being a loving dad, he was like, okay, let's build this tree house. The funny thing is I had no part in helping build the tree house. You know who did? My neighbor, Richard. He came over and helped my dad and my sister build a tree house for me. So thank you. But years go by, and the kids grow up, and we all moved out of the house, and there's really no need for this tree house anymore. And so my dad got this idea: I'm going to take down the tree house. But he didn't want to bother anybody or be an inconvenience to anybody, and he didn't want people to have to take time out of their busy schedules to come and help him take down a treehouse that his kids no longer use. So he decided, I'll just do it myself. So what he did is he gathered as much rope as he could, gathered the necessary tools that he thought he would need. He went outside and he began working and setting things up so that he could take this treehouse down one leg at a time. Now, when he told me one leg at a time, I thought, Dad, what? That doesn't make sense. What are you going to do when there's no more legs on the treehouse and it's just the treehouse part? What are you going to do? Anyway, this is the condition that my mother found my dad in as she came home one afternoon. She came home and she went to the backyard wondering where my dad was. And what she found was my dad with ropes in hand, leaning back, kind of steadying things. And he had this hard hat on his head. But the funny thing about the hard hat is that it was a hard hat that he had used for a Halloween costume. So this hard hat literally said Bob the Builder on the side. And yet he's outside trying to take down this treehouse. Now, for those of you that know my mother, this won't be a surprise. For those of you that don't, let me just explain. She made sure that he didn't try to take down that treehouse by himself. She was adamant, this is a two-person, at least, kind of job. How many of you know that life was not meant to be a one-person job? That walking through the day-to-day grind and the ups and downs and the high times and the low times and the great stuff and the really terrible stuff, it was always meant to be at least a two-person job. That there was always some design for you and I to be connected somehow and to never have to laugh or cry alone unless we choose. The truth is that many of us choose to try to go alone. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's over 100 commands in the New Testament that you and I can't fulfill by ourselves. That we need at least one other person to even be able to carry out the commands that Jesus gives. When Jesus says, a new command I give you, when he says that you would love one another, do you know that you can't love one another by yourself? Do you know that when Jesus says to forgive each other, you can't forgive each other by yourself? That it's required that we be in relationship. And this morning we're going to go just a little step further and not just say in relationship, but that you and I have friendships. And we see this example, we see Jesus walk this out. Jesus was constantly surrounded by people, and yet we see several different layers or levels of relationship. See, the Bible tells us that wherever Jesus went, there were crowds of people that gathered. They were constantly just coming just to be in the same vicinity, just be around Jesus. But from those crowds came a large group of people who were called disciples. So you and I are used to hearing about the 12 disciples, but there's really a larger group of people considered followers of Jesus. But from that group, then we get our 12. These were people that Jesus did life with. That day to day they were walking together. They were sharing meals together. Everywhere they went, everything that they did it all together. But even from among the 12, there were 3. There were 3 that were intimately connected to Jesus, that they got to see behind the curtain even more than the others did. This morning, we're going to spend a few minutes just kind of looking at the example of Jesus and looking at 4 levels of friendship. We're going to start kind of zoomed out, and as we piece through this, we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and we're going to see that there's really 4 specific levels of friendship, 4 levels that you and I have that are available to us so that we can be in connection. And our 4 levels, we're going to use kind of this house setup back here. So if you guys can kick on those lights so we can see all of our house. But our 4 levels that we're going to discuss this morning are this. The first level is we have our front porch friends. The second level, now I'm going to do this very carefully because first service, I almost tipped this door onto myself, and that would have been embarrassing. So we're going to, it doesn't open that way. We're going to pretend that this is a functional door. We got our front porch friends. We got our Mr. Fix-It right here. Richard going to take care of this. Look at that. That's why he built the treehouse and I didn't. So we got our front porch friends. We've got our entryway friends. We've got our living room friends. And then our last level, our deepest level, we've got our kitchen table friends. I think this is what we see in the example of Jesus. We've got these 4 different levels, and each level carries with it both benefits and responsibilities. There's always some level of give and take when it comes to a friendship. If it's lacking something, if it's lacking some give or you're not receiving on some, then it's not a real friendship. Doesn't matter what you call it, what you label it. If there's not some give and take, some mutual understanding, then it is not a friendship. So let's take a look at our first level. First level, the front porch friend. These are people who are really kind of considered your acquaintances. Why do we call them our front porch friends? Because these are the friends that when they come and they knock on your door, you open the door and you come out to meet them. And you close the door behind you. Because though you may be friends with them, you'd rather them not see your house. You don't know how long they'll stay, so you don't invite them in. You come out to the porch and you decide we can sit and have some conversation out here. You see, your front porch friends, these are acquaintances. Front porch friends have a shared location. See, typically we become front porch friends because we interact in the same place. Just by coming to Bellevue Christian Center this morning, you have front porch friends. Here's the benefit of a front porch friend. You receive community from this level of friendship. So you show up and you realize that you are not the only human being on this planet. You look around and you go, there's others. There are others doing this life thing. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm ready to share my world with you. It just means that we keep coming to the same place. There's some people that I see every single morning, Monday through Friday at Blue Moon Fitness, and they're friends, front porch friends. I recognize them. They recognize me. We may say hi to one another. We may stop at the water fountain and talk for just a minute about the weather and how I'm so tired of this cold and how yesterday was a nice day, but now I'm frustrated because it's really cold today. Yep, have a good workout. Talk to you later. Front porch friends, really the only responsibility you have is to simply show up. How do we begin to build community? Decide that you're going to show up. Here's the interesting thing while we're talking about showing up and community and specifically when we talk about church. See, one of the interesting things is that for you and I to say that we regularly attend church really means that we come about 1 out of every 3.5 weeks. That's our culture's idea of regularly attending. But here's what you miss out on is when you're here 1 out of every 3.5 weeks, there's several other weeks that you're not getting community. It's important that we have this. I want to be very clear that I'm not minimizing the importance of front porch friends. We need to come together. We need that gathering. We need to have that shared location. That's why Hebrews 10:25 says, "Let us not give up the habit of meeting together, as some are doing. Instead, let us encourage one another all the more, since you see the day of the Lord is coming nearer." The benefit of a that's hard, of a front something, of a level 1 friend. The benefit is that you get community. The responsibility is that you just show up. But that's just our basic beginning level. We have our second level, our entryway friends. We call these our entryway friends because when this person comes and they knock on your door, you will open the door and you will invite them in, but you usually do it this way. "Come on in for a minute." Yeah, you can come on in, but you won't bring them all the way to the couch. You'll just kind of stop short in the entryway and you'll begin to have conversation there. "So how are you doing?" And if they start to make a move, you kind of block. "No, we're not going. We're not going that way. We're staying right here. I'm keeping you contained." See, the reason this is the next level is because you've been willing to open up the door and to let someone in a little bit. You see, at this level of friendship, we find that we have a shared interest. This is often kind of the launch pad for any other of our friendship levels, is we connect somehow on a common interest. Maybe it's around a basketball game, or it's around our kids are in the same activity, or maybe it's around a movie that you like, or a certain genre of music, or it's around the arts or something like that. But you have this common interest, which brings a little bit more connection, which causes us to open the door just enough to where now these people might start to see our house and to see inside just a little bit more. The benefit of this level is that we tend to get some sort of fun and energy out of this. Because we're connecting around things that we both like, it brings excitement to our lives. Some of you need some entryway friends. The responsibility here is that I have to begin to get outside of my own world. I have to start to share a little bit. I want to be very clear about this. For some of us, the reason that we feel that we never get past front porch friends is because we are simply unwilling to be interested in anyone other than ourselves. As long as my interest is only focused on myself, I will never progress in deeper friendships. It just doesn't work that way. We'll stay surface level outside of the house. But if I'm willing to open the door a little bit and begin to take interest, that doesn't mean that I'm all in on your life. It just means that I'm going to take a little bit of interest in the things that you're interested in. If you begin to do that, then you'll see this level of friendship you can deepen in your connection. And that is God's heart for us, is that we would continue to deepen in our connections. Responsibility, I have to get outside of my own world. To have this kind of friendship, I have to share a little bit more of myself, and I have to be interested in a little bit more of you. I invite you in, and I share more of my world, and I'm willing to listen to what's happening in your world. It's at this level when caring for one another begins. When you start to realize that there's people who care for you, and you care for them. I love what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. He said, the only way to have a friend is to be one. If you want to deepen your friendships, be the thing that you're desiring from a friendship. So we have our front porch friends. We have our entryway friends. Our level 3, we have our living room friend. Now here's the biggest disconnect when we start talking about friends. Here's the greatest gap in our friendships is we may have lots of front porch friends. We may have several entryway friends, but when it gets to the living room, the number decreases very quickly. And I want you to know, some of you are like, oh, that's such a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Because at this level, you have to start being very choosy and wise about who you're going to invite to come and have a seat in your house. Because make no mistake, the living room friends, these are the friends that are going to begin to influence your life. These are the friends, see, at this level, we have a shared life together. We had a shared location, a shared interest, but now we're sharing life. We start to go a little bit deeper, and we let our guard down when we sit on the couch together. We start to be just a little bit more vulnerable, and we start to open the door a little bit more and say, okay, I'm going to let you in, and I'm not going to be shocked when you let me in. But I want to address one of our issues when it comes to moving through these levels. Some of us find ourselves really hurt and frustrated because we've brought living room expectations and placed them on our front porch friends. We've expected that you're going to be vulnerable and honest with me, and you're going to be there for me, and you're never going to judge me, and I'm going to share all of my secrets with you. But we're doing that with front porch type people who we don't really know. We can't really know if we can trust them or not. And what we do is we say, well, I don't understand why they would treat me like that. It's because you gave them more access to your home than you ever should have. There's a reason why 1 Corinthians 15:33 says that bad company corrupts good character. You have to be wise about who's coming into your house and who you're giving access to. Far too many of us are choosing really bad living room friends. And we wonder why we end up in some of the places that we do. This is definitely the level of friendship where we tend to see the most hurt take place. Matthew 7:6, I think it gives us this idea, this understanding of how to be wise as we let people in. It says, and I love the way it says it because it's just straightforward. It says, don't throw your pearls to pigs. They will trample the pearls, then turn and attack you. Some of us has said, but it's just who I am. I'm just an open book. I share my life with everybody. That may be so, but that also might be why you keep finding yourself let down and hurt. Some of us, just have this incredible gift of oversharing. and we force people onto the couch. We've brought you in. You just wanted to drop something off at the door, and we said, no, come in, you're staying for a while. And we've put you on the couch because we've shared too much. Can I just tell you, can I just help some of you? Your friendships would go a lot smoother if you would not force people into certain levels of friendship. If you would just be patient and remember that none of these levels of friendship are the destination, that it's all about just walking through life together, then you wouldn't be in such a hurry to assign labels to each one of your friendships. And you'd be okay with just letting things be and letting them grow naturally to where you connect here. And then later, you connect here. Can I say this too for any of you who are dating? Is it okay if I say it? Is that all right if I say it? It's good. But this is exactly what some of you are doing in your dating relationship is the minute there's a front porch connection, you want to take it to the kitchen table. And we do this. This is not, get focused, Andy, get focused. Get focused. But this is what we do. We do it physically, we do it emotionally, is we jump to this level. And now you're not ready to get married, but you've gone just about every place you could possibly think of. And now listen, you have nothing to enjoy in the process. You have no level to enjoy when you get to that next step and you go, this is so much fun being able to grow together. Instead, you forced growth. And now where do you go with it? It's a different message entirely. I want you to understand that when you're able to find the right living room friends, it can be truly life-changing. I want to invite a friend up, and she's going to invite a few of her friends up as well, but Leanne and Graldy's going to come, and she's going to share with us just a little bit of her story and what friends have meant. Your friends were acting like they didn't
I know. They know.
They know.
They're just ignoring my text message.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Well, these are my girls. Back in 27, well, actually, sorry, let me start over again. When my husband and I brought our family back here to BCC about 7 years ago now, we were really hurting as a family. I'd say our marriage was struggling. We were just hurt. And I lost my dad shortly after that, and it put me into a very dark time. And when I would come here on Sunday mornings, I would sit in the back, and I just wanted to get in, and I wanted to get out, and I didn't want anybody to know how ugly I was on the inside. And about the fall of 2017, Amy Stanley, where are you, girl? She approached me, and she said, hey, I'm kind of trying to get some moms together. You guys don't really know each other, but I think we have a common bond. And so there were a few more of us that started that initial Husker Saturday in Amy's basement, and we really didn't know each other at all. And so we started as a group that all we had was our common bond, that we were moms. And we were moms who were struggling. We were moms who didn't feel like we were getting it right. We didn't feel like we had it all together. And it started as moms, but it became so much more than that. We call ourselves a sisterhood. And growing up, I never had a lot of friends, never had a sister. It seemed like all my adult life, my friends stayed on the porch, and I could never get them to my door. And even if they did get to my door, I probably wouldn't like what they saw, so I wanted to keep them aside. And there's something really spiritual that happened in this group, because God started to break down the vulnerability that I was trying to fight against, the walls that I had built thinking that I could never have friends. And so now I'm almost 40, and I have these women who have become my sisters. And we've gone through some hard stuff, and we're going through harder stuff. My sister Liz is, she's fighting breast cancer, and we are walking alongside each other, helping her. We've become a life group, or focus group now, called Mama Bears, because being a mom is hard some days. And you need moms who are willing to come alongside you and be that friend and to be that encouragement. And so there's many more Mama Bears in this room. And if you need help and you need a friend, come see us, because we want to include every mama. I'm really thankful that I said yes to Amy that Saturday morning, because it would have been really easy. Y'all are matching. What in the world? Sorry. Because had I not said yes, had I not chosen to be vulnerable, I would be missing out on so much. And I'm so thankful to God that he gave me this group of ladies.
When you're a person who's easily moved, you see a group hug like that and you just want to be a part of it. but you know you better not. That's not. Living room friends, benefits. You have a shared life. So when you go through something, they go through it with you. Living room responsibilities is that you share your life. And so when they go through something, you go through it with them. It's a give and a take. At Bellevue Christian Center, we believe in life groups and focus groups, and you have to hear this, that it's not about just filling a group for the sake of having groups. It's about understanding that each and every one of us walks through seasons of life that we cannot handle by ourselves. That we need people. We have to link arms with people, and we have to go together, or we will not make it through. So when we say join a life group, when we say get involved in a focus group, what we're saying is begin to find some friendships that will last for a lifetime. Start to find the people that are going to share life with you. Level 1, our front porch. Level 2, our entryway. Level 3, our living room. And the last and deepest level of friendship is our kitchen table. Now, I understand that in our culture nowadays, the kitchen table doesn't have quite the same meaning that it used to. But the idea behind sitting down to a meal and sharing it with people around the table meant this. It meant that we are intimately connected, that what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine, that there is nothing hidden at the kitchen table. See, I have 3 kids, so if I invite you over to eat a meal at my house, you are going to see a level of life that not everybody gets to see. You're going to see the messes. You're going to see the lack of table manners from me. When we get to the kitchen table, we have a shared intimacy. See, we began with a shared location. We had a shared interest. And we started to have a shared life. And now, for the select few, we have a shared intimacy. These are the people that become your circle, your safe place. The place where there is no need to pretend anymore. Where on your absolute worst days, they look at you and say, I still love you. Where on your absolute best days, they remind you of who you are. These are the people that when you think of when your world is breaking apart, who do you call? It's your kitchen table friends. I have a friend of mine, close friend, and he talks about your 2 a.m. friends. He talks about who are the people that you call at 2 a.m. And I have a little bit of an issue with that because my phone and I have an agreement that between certain hours of the evening, my phone keeps everything a secret from me. My phone makes sure that even if you did call me, I wouldn't know about it. So you got to hear that it's not just, some of us, this is important, some of us, we have allowed ourselves to be hurt because we've tried calling someone at an hour of the night and they didn't answer and you assumed that it was because they must not care about you. It's not just about will they answer the phone in that moment. It's about will they be there when your world breaks apart. This is such an important level of friendship, and yet it's the one level that few of us ever get to. It's challenging. You have to be able to work through some wounds that will happen as friends. But once you get to that kitchen table kind of level, you understand that what Proverbs 27:6 says is so true. It says, wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. When you get to the kitchen table level and you're hurt by your friend, you know they weren't out to get you. That somewhere you just missed the mark. But I know you and you know me and I trust you and you trust me and I know that we can be okay. Problem is, some of us have been hurt right around these two levels, the living room and the kitchen table, and what we've decided is we will only ever have front porch friends again. We've decided I'll never let anyone in my house again because I'm not going to be hurt like that. And you are missing the benefits of a shared life and a shared intimacy. What's the responsibility of a kitchen table friend? Responsibility is that you must be vulnerable. You have to learn to trust. You have to be honest. And you have to be loyal. We don't talk a lot about that loyal word anymore. That I will stick with you no matter what. See, kitchen table friends don't care what your friendship does for their image. They only care for you. This morning, I have two questions for us to think about. The first question, and the most important question, is as you look at our house up here, and we understand the different levels of friendship in your life, where is Jesus? Is Jesus on the front porch? Is he in a place where he's been knocking on the door, but you open it and step outside to meet him? Where you say, Jesus, I'm going to come out to meet you, but I'm cool with having a shared location and going to church and being in that community, but I'm not going to let you in. Not yet, anyway. Or is he in the entryway? Have you opened the door and invited him in, but just said, Jesus, just for a minute. Jesus, we can share a little bit of interest. I'm kind of curious about this life with you, but I'm just gonna keep you in this contained area. I'm not ready to share life with you yet. Maybe you've invited Jesus into the living room. Maybe you're sitting at the couch with him and you're doing life together. And if you are, that's incredible. There's nothing like doing life with Jesus. But even if you're in that place, I want you to know that there's still more. There's still another level that maybe Jesus wants to come and to sit at the table and have a meal with you. Let's read what it says in Revelation 3:20. It says, "Look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and we will share what? We will share a meal together as friends." There's someone in this room this morning that Jesus is on the front porch and he's knocking and he's saying, will you let me in? I want to come in and I want to share a meal with you. I want to transform your life. I want to take all the brokenness, all the hurt, all the messed up stuff in your life, and I want to come and sit and talk about it at the table. And I want you to know about all of the healing that I have, all of the forgiveness that I have, all of the love that I've just been waiting to give you. Where's Jesus for you this morning? Second question is, do you have friends beyond the entryway? Do you have friends that are beginning to go deeper, that are sharing life with you? Or are you keeping everyone in the entryway in the front porch? Are you keeping people at a distance? This morning there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for you to open your heart and to say, okay, God, I'm willing if you'll send some people, if you'll help me find some people that can be my living room friends and my kitchen table friends. God, I'm willing to take that step again. Where are your friendships at today? I want to invite everybody in this place, if you're able, will you stand with me? I want to invite the prayer team to come, to gather at the front. I want to go back to that first question that I asked, where's Jesus? Where is Jesus in your life? Is he on the front porch? Is he in the entryway? Are you doing life with him? Are you intimately connected to him? If you're in this place this morning and you would say, you know what, I want Jesus to go to another level. I want our connection to go deeper this morning, wherever it's at. Then in just a moment, I'm going to invite you to come and to find a place up here, and we're going to practice doing life together as we pray for one another. And we ask that connection to Jesus